Welcome to another real-time trade. In this video, I'll discuss several ways to manage the trade to empower you to design a trade management model that suits your unique mental wiring. This is the stuff of the real game. Now let's join the trade in progress. Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good day so far. It's 9:31. That means the New York market has just opened. Let's take a look at the three sisters, shall we, here on the open. There it is. There's the NASDAQ on the left, S&P in the middle, and the Dow on the far right. These are 1-minute charts with volume weighted average price, VWAP, the blue line in the middle, 2.5 standard deviations, showing the three sisters, the three key U.S. indices here, looking for synchronicity, divergence, relative strength, relative weakness, things of that nature here. So far, reacting pretty much the same as each other. No divergence yet, just synchronous behavior here above VWAP and above their EMAs. That's a 9 and 21 EMA, by the way. I'm going to be looking for an opportunity here at some point. I typically don't trade for the first 10 minutes unless I see something very compelling in terms of setups. Usually it needs to be quite clean or very clean if it's in that window, and it needs to make sense in the context of the big picture. This is my trading grid. Daily chart in the top left, 30-minute chart on the bottom left, and then a 1, 2, or 3-minute chart on the right-hand side. For the first hour or so, it's a 1-minute chart usually. In this video, I'll be cutting out dead air and sideways grinding action, any non-teaching moments and things of that nature to keep the video nice and tight. My members seem to appreciate that. Members, by the way, when referring to my Telegram group, my free Telegram group. The link is in the description. Feel free to come by and join up if you like. It's an outgoing group, so I send information, I post information. It's not a chat group as such. I used to have a chat group, but it became just too much to manage when we got 500, 600, 700 members. So this is outbound only, but people seem to really enjoy it, and I do too. And so come on by. All right, I'll put you on pause for now. We'll look to see how things unfold here. All right, guys, we're back watching the three sisters here. As you can see, the NASDAQ dropping significantly below VWAP, S&P following suit, the Dow holding up again, as we saw yesterday on a relative basis. Nothing for me to do here yet, but I am considering a short, believe it or not, although it doesn't look like short material, does it? Not in the context of the Dow alone, but when you start looking at this, you begin to see a pattern appearing here. A faltering Dow trying to make new highs. See these three rejection wicks? Could not get higher and stay, could not stay on each successive attempt, and then dropping below. If we get a breakdown below here now, for instance, I begin to get bearish in the Dow to close the gap between these weaker of the three sisters and this particular sister, right? The Dow itself. Not folding yet, but if it does, then I get interested. It's 9:52. We're still in the first 30-minute candle of the day. This is not a live order, it's just an idea. I'm very much still watching the three sisters, as I do always, on a different monitor. Here it is. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P are negative moving average configurations and below or on VWAP. In the case of the S&P, looking to drop lower. Tempting to move over now to the NASDAQ. Let's see what we got here. Let's go over to the NASDAQ. Moving my marker up now. It's a zone revision. S&P, let's take a look. zone revision. Dow not wanting to drop. On the contrary. All right, guys, we're back. Sell stop order here. We're just coming up to a new 30-minute candle. This is the first 30-minute candle of the session. Rejected now from the zones up here on the Dow. And looking to get tagged in here potentially. Live sell stop right there, guys. You see that there? Actually shorting the what has been the strongest since the open. And short, guys. I'm in now. Tagged in right here. So let me double check my platform, and yep, good to go. And now the coin has been tossed. I will put you on pause and we'll come back and see how this thing unfolds. First trade of the day. Here we go. And target 1 has been hit. So the 1R all or nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. The 2R moved stop to break even at 1R has moved their stop to break even. So they will either get 2R on this trade or they'll get 0, because that's what the 2R move stop to break even is all about. Of course, the 1.5R and 2R all or nothing traders are still sitting here waiting to see how this trade is going to pan out. All right, guys, I'm back. Just to explain this trade idea again, this is a zone reversal trade. It's not quite as traditional as you will often see me do, where I will sometimes, if not often, sell the break below the prior candle, which was actually in the pre-market, if you remember. We had the first candle, and late in the first candle, the first 30-minute candle is when I sold, right? Sold right here on a break of structure here, and during a contracting style pattern, right? We had tried to make a high. Well, we did make a high here and then try to make a low, could not get down, could not get back up, and then so this begins to move into a contracting pattern. Sold here. Why would I sell here without waiting all the way down here for the prior candle low? Well, sometimes I'll do that if the rest of the picture is telling me something quite different. So I sold right here. See that? Above VWAP. Well, the other two were below VWAP and looking very bearish. NASDAQ and S&P were leading the charge down. Dow was actually up above VWAP and with a positive moving average configuration for a portion of that time. And then eventually failed, could not get higher, and then broke down below. That's when things got really interesting for me. And this was one of those trade ideas that I just sent to my group a few minutes ago, of selling the strongest to close the gap between the strongest and the weakest two sisters, right? So selling the strongest sister to align with or to realign with the weaker sisters. Sometimes you will see me short the weakest, and that would have worked here too, right? The NASDAQ still the weakest of the three. Not by much, by the way. The S&P is almost equally as weak. And so hopefully that makes sense. What else can I tell you? I always want to get into your mind and see what questions you might have. What else could you be thinking? Oh, another reason why. So here we notice that we're at a top of a zone, right? This 30-minute candle, the first candle. I first waited for it to spike up through this zone, could not stay above, hit another zone, right? This goes way back to here yesterday. Hit another zone and could not stay above, rejected down. That is a bearish sign. So it's a reversing candle. Waited until the candle body had become blue before taking that entry. And then so the daily, of course, is bearish. I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm not too sure in the video or not. Certainly thought about it. I think I did actually in the beginning, but bearish daily breaking the lows. Yeah, breaking the lows for many weeks here, many months, or several months as a matter of fact. And so bearish daily rallying into two zones and failing into the pre-market, and then the first candle of the New York session could not maintain that rally. This could still rally out, by the way, guys, and take us out. And then, so when we go back to let's go back to the NASDAQ, for instance. Well, why wouldn't I short the weakest? Well, another reason is because the NASDAQ was at a key support zone, right? Quite the opposite of the Dow. In other words, there's nowhere for this one to go. Well, it turns out this can go as low as it wants. This could absolutely blow through 2 or 3 zones here in a few minutes. And that's kind of been what's been happening here the last few days. As a matter of fact, you can see here, let me just narrow this in here, and then we had another couple of days where we had some nice zone breaking action in through here and what have you. So the NASDAQ didn't have me able to go anywhere on the 30-minute reason to enter, right? The S&P was a little bit more constructive, but still trading near the low of this big candle here. And so the Dow was the entry of choice given where we are in the zones. You notice my platform's taking a while to load up here. It'll come a little bit slow here today. I'm not sure why. You'll see my zone markers have completely disappeared here on TradingView. Sometimes that happens. Anyway, I'll put you back on pause for now, guys, and bring you back as this trade develops. And target 2 has been hit, 1.5R. So the 1.5R all or nothing trader has exited the trade with full profitability. The 2R move stop to break even, of course, has been stopped out at 0. And of course, the 1R all or nothing trader has had full profitability. Look at this thing drive down now. It's been a very long and messy, sloppy zone reversal trade, as you can see. Been in here for a long time. I actually switched to a 2-minute chart here, guys, to divide the number of candles in half because it was just getting too busy. And so waiting for this thing to play out, guys. Again, this is a zone reversal trade. I entered on the first 30-minute candle of the session. You don't always see me do that, but as I explained earlier, because of what was happening on the Three Sisters, this is a close the gap trade, right? I actually sold the strongest, the most resilient of the three to close the gap into what the NASDAQ and the S&P were doing. There are many ways to trade the Three Sisters. And of course, I'm not actually trading the Three Sisters. I'm always trading from the 30-minute chart, the trading grid here in the context of the daily, and then using the 1 minute, of course, for refinement of entries. Sometimes it's the 2 or the 3 minute, depending on what time of the day we are. Driving down now, let's see if we can finish this thing off. And we're done, guys. 152 points on the Dow here. Long trade, took a while, but it paid off. Just having patience and just working with structure here. Again, zone reversal. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for your support and for clicking the like button. And subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, that notification bell as well. I really do appreciate you. I'm sure we'll see you again this afternoon. Take care. Have a great one.